Good evening, YouTube. This is Carrie Ann Normie. I just wanted to say a few words. So I have been a part of, and I think I've mentioned this before, a program called Partners in Policymaking. I am the class of 29 in Minnesota, and also the Partners in Policymaking had just celebrated 25 years in existence. Partners in Policymaking started with Dr. Colleen Wick, and it was supported, or it is supported, by the Developmental Disability Council of Minnesota. There are other Partners in Policymaking units out there. So if you live in the following, if you give me 1 second to Partners in Policy Making. So if you give me 1 second to figure that out, give me one. Okay, so there is Partners in Policymaking in Alaska, in Anchorage, Alaska. There is a Partners in Policymaking in Arizona, Tucson, Arizona. There is a Partners in Policymaking in Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas. There is a Partners in Policymaking in Sacramento, California, and in Clover City, California. There's also one in Dover, Delaware, and Wilmington, Delaware, and also in Tallahassee, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Wailuku, Maui, Hawaii. I'm not quite sure if I know, in fact, I know I did not pronounce that correctly, sorry. There's one in Boise, Idaho, Evanston, Illinois, Indianapolis, Indiana. There appears to be two different ones. Actually, they're just double. They're not two different ones, they're just listed twice on this list. There's one in Topeka, Kansas. There's one in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There's one in St. Paul, Minnesota. Jefferson City, Missouri. Reno, Nevada. Concord, New Hampshire. Trenton, New Jersey. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Rochester, New York. Let's see. There's one in Raleigh, North Carolina, Bismarck, North Dakota, Cleveland, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, and Columbus, Ohio. Sapulapa, Oklahoma, Salem, Oregon, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Columbia, South Carolina, Prairie, South Dakota, Nashville, Tennessee, Richmond, Virginia, Washington, D.C. Of course, there has to be a Partners in Washington, D.C., wouldn't you think? Charleston, West Virginia, Madison, Wisconsin. There are also partners in other countries, including Amsterdam, the Netherlands, Wellington, New Zealand, Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, Scotland, Edinburgh, Scotland, Liverpool, United Kingdom, Lancashire, England, Warwickshire, England, Great Britain, so in Craighead, Stanley, County Durham, Great Britain, and also in Dewsbury, West Yorkshire, Great Britain, and Stebbing, Dunmow, United Kingdom. Anyway, so as you can tell, there are quite a few partners in policymaking chapters, if you will. But it all started here in Minnesota 25 years ago with Dr. Colleen Wick. Dr. Colleen Wick is still involved to this day with the not only the Developmental Disability Council in Minnesota, but she is also involved with the Partners in Policymaking program. So I applied last year, and obviously I got accepted because I'm now a graduate. But I didn't know going in that it was so intense. I had been told that it was intense, but it was quite the roller coaster of emotions. I met some wonderful people, including a guy who does a series here on YouTube called GIMP Adventures, and a friend of his. So a shout out to House and Mel. Hello, guys. And then I've met some other wonderful people. There was a person who had, children with FAS, fetal alcohol syndrome, which is something my brother suffers from, or whatever the word is that I'm looking for that I can't find. So her and I were essentially roommates for the whole time, and I really appreciate her immensely. And there's some other people. There's lots of other people involved, and all their stories have impacted me in some way or another. But if you live with a developmental disability and you're thinking of becoming a self-advocate, or you are a self-advocate and want to get into policy-making issues, or want to learn more about policy-making issues, I highly recommend the Partners in Policy-Making program. If you are a family member of a person with developmental disabilities, I also highly recommend it, because they have self-advocates there, and they also have people who are family members. So you really get a well-rounded educational experience. And the best thing of it all, there is an application, but if you get in, it's a free program. And so, this year it was about $4,000 per pupil for the program, and that's a lot of money. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of money to me. So there were about 30 people in my class. So you can just times 30 times 4,000, and you can imagine the incredible cost that goes into Partners in Policymaking. But we have, national speakers, and we have people that are just really knowledgeable and willing to share their information, and not only their knowledge, but they give us their business information so that we can contact them at any point during class or thereafter, to ask questions of them, or to inquire about situations that we may be going through as either parents or self-advocates. And that in itself is invaluable. You can't really put a price on somebody's time and effort, and it's just an amazing program. I highly recommend it. I am going to get a tripod, hopefully, at some point, so that I can stand my camera up instead of holding it in my hand. I tried putting my tripod that I had for my flip cam on this camera, and it didn't work, so gave it the old college try. So it's been just a wonderful experience. I'm so blessed that my husband supported me, but on top of that, his job supported me. If his job wasn't willing to give him the time off that he needed so that I could go, I wouldn't have been able to do the program. So thank you very much for supporting me, and thank you to Dr. Colleen Wick and to Colleen, I'm sorry, not Colleen, Carol, and to Mary and Mary Jo and all the presenters, and that helped Class 29 be successful. I hope that I can do the program justice and be a good self-advocate as well as an advocate. Although my children don't have a developmental disability, cerebral palsy in itself is considered a developmental disability. So I came under the umbrella of a self-advocate. I also came under, so it was great. And I would not have given back the 9 months that I spent with partners back. So thanks again, and like I said, I really encourage anyone to get involved with Partners in Policymaking, either by being a guest speaker, or going to the class as a participant. It's an amazing program. So that's all I had to say. Have a great night. Thanks again for listening to another segment of Carrie Ann Nami. As always, if you have questions or comments or concerns, plug them down below or private message me. Thanks again for your time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.